Thank you for joining us today. This is a film series called Something from Nothing, which tells the stories of special people in the profession of structural engineering. Structural engineers are the backbone that create the infrastructure of our nation. They work with architects, we create buildings. Look around you, every building that you live in was designed by a structural engineer. We're not architects, but we work closely with architects. And very few of you know who we are. Most probably, none of you know who we are. So we've created this series in conjunction with the Structural Engineers Association of Southern California to introduce the best and the brightest of our industry, to show the world what we are and who we are.
Starting out my career as a young woman structural engineer, there were definitely moments where I felt like I have to be an overachiever, go above and beyond. Most of the time I would go out in the field. I was one of the only women.
I definitely started noticing preference to take direction from male colleagues as opposed to from women engineers. There were definitely difficult days. The little subliminal things like that was when I started to notice how much more of a challenge I probably would need to overcome. I used to think you can only design buildings if you're an architect. And then I came to the realization that you design buildings by becoming a structural engineer, because you design the most crucial components of a building as the structural engineer.
I use this analogy where I say, like, the architect designs the human body and the structural engineer designs the skeleton system. So you may not always see it, but a structural engineer is a key player in the design of any structure that you see on a daily basis.
Yes, we have so many rules, but I enjoyed the challenge of putting a building together. The technical side of it, the math, the numbers. My name is Maria Mohammad. I'm originally from Ethiopia. So I've always loved math. The curriculum in Ethiopia, you start taking physics, chemistry, and biology in 7th grade. I came to the US when I was just when I turned 19 to go to community college called Fullerton College in Orange County.
I was a little nervous, of course, moving from a country I was raised in and spent, 18 years of my life to move to this really big place. But overall, I think I found comfort in the idea that I will have family here who can support me through furthering my education, and that made it become an easier decision. All throughout college, I knew I wanted to design buildings, and that was like the decision that started it all. And today, I still want to design buildings.
I transferred to USC after 2 years of community college.
I pivoted from architecture and went into structural engineering.
Structural engineering specifically felt like it allowed for a little bit of creativity to channel my interest in architecture, but from a more technical perspective of engineering. I picked USC because it felt like I was offered more opportunities, both in terms of academics as well as extracurricular activities I was interested in.
One of the things that I did to challenge myself was joining the debate team. Speech and debate was not part of the curriculum in Ethiopia, so it was something very different, very new, and especially at USC, the type of debate I was doing, it was very demanding, and in a lot of ways it was very challenging because I was competing against students who have had training all throughout their high school as well as their college years.
I realized the skills I was learning from debate were not the same skills I was learning from my engineering classes. It was a good combination.
It has been an interesting experience being one of the very few people of color and women in the structural engineering community and industry as a whole. I was working as an engineer probably in the first couple of years. I would show up to site visits and they wouldn't expect me to be the engineer for the site visits. I would have to say, yes, I'm the structural engineer and I'm here to look at X, Y, and Z. And I can sense the change in their behavior. Maybe about 15-20 minutes in is when they would start taking me seriously. Just realizing I know what I'm talking about and I'm there for a reason, and just like, you know, giving me the respect I deserve and the professionalism I deserve. Not every experience was like that, but there were definitely some that were like that. I've had interactions within the industry where I noticed I was the only Black woman at various experiences I've had, be it attending a conference, attending an event, or attending a meeting with colleagues. I want to make the world a better place, and I'm in a career where I can make better buildings and make the world better in that way.
I'm definitely hopeful.
Okay, tell me about that you're a painter.
I like to paint.
Now, when you say that you like to paint, you're not talking about like the garage door.
No, like my initial goal actually was to paint all of the art in my apartment. I painted that.
This is beautiful. So, have you put them on eBay? Have you auctioned them?
No.
Well, NTF. NTF.
NTF. Maybe I will.
NTF?
I will make
Starting
it.
bid
Starting bid,
$1 million?
Sure.
Okay.
Now we have structural engineering.
That's a problem here. Then I'm gonna lose the staff. No. Don't give her that idea, please.
When I'm driving around LA and I see buildings I've designed, I'm very proud to just say like, oh yeah, I did that building, or even like my company did that building. I really enjoy that. I'm always proud to point that out. Few projects that I'm proud of. Ford Theater is one of them. It's in Hollywood. It was a challenging project. There were various components to it in terms of designing a new building, making modifications to the existing historic theater. Overall, I learned a lot from that project, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm currently finishing another historic building project at Chapman University that I'm also very proud of. My family lives very near the building, so hopefully I'll have lots of opportunities to drive by it and say like, yeah, I worked on that building too. And it's very fun to just drive around town and just like look at my buildings. I think something I would like to dedicate my career towards having more impactful advocacy roles would be where I would like to see myself in the next 5-10 years. Be able to work with various stakeholders, decision makers, politicians at various levels. Like it could be local jurisdictions like cities, or it can even be, you know, at the state level. Have an opportunity to advocate for better building standards and better building performance. Specifically, I probably will work more closely with public policy and advocacy committees that exist within various professional associations, and just work towards making better buildings in that way.
The world as a whole is ready for change, and the change feels like it's being driven by young people. It's being driven by people of various backgrounds and ethnicities, skin colors, and it can only get better from here.